head of, EEOC or something like that. Anyway, I got to meet with her, and we talked a lot about Title VII and how it applies to trans folk. And recently, over the past several years, we've had a lot of good case law backing up the idea that the idea of sex, someone's sex,
I love the idea of sex.
well, also covers sex stereotypes. So you can't fire a woman for not wearing a miniskirt to the office. You can't fire a man because he's not masculine enough or something like that. And here in Houston, we had the Izzy Lopez case. She was transsexual, and the employer found out and fired her. And she filed Title VII and got a large settlement from it. I think that Title VII actions will probably be explicitly trans inclusive long before there's ever any real movement on an ENDA or something. And if it gets to that point, I don't know that there's necessarily a need for ENDA if Title VII becomes kind of the de facto ENDA. So I think that we're making a lot of strides under Title VII, but where ENDA is concerned, I just don't know that it's ever going. I don't know that it'll ever be passed. I don't know that.
Here's the thing you have to deal with. Where do you draw that line between a man and a woman in the minds of over 200 million heteronormative individuals that control the politics in this country?
And that's why I don't think that, that's why I'm very, I feel ENDA's future is quite dubious. And
I think it's dead in the water.
I think that Title VII wins are probably the way to go. I think that, when someone is fired because of discrimination based on their sex, whether it's Peter Euler, future Peter Eulers who are cross-dressers and their employer finds out that they cross-dress at home and they're fired.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Let's get back to the original premise of this whole conversation.
Sure.
Okay, which was, if I understand it, the separatists versus the inclusionists.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm not sure where we need to go with that, Kristen, but I don't have a lot in common with people that put on a dress, go out one night, get up the next morning, go to work as a man, and want to turn to Congress and say, protect us. I'm sorry, that's just weird from my perspective. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be protected, but why the hell do we need to protect men?
Well, whenever you say protect us, are you saying protect us from beatings, from being murdered, from being fired because they dressed up, whenever you say give them protections, what do you mean specifically? Or
You know, I don't think anybody in this country should be fired from their job because of something they do off hours.
Right, yeah.
Okay. On the other hand, if Joe wants to come in one day as Joe and the next day as Josephine, and I was an employer, I would say, excuse me, you need to work somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tend to, it depends on the context, what kind of employment. Is that something that is cool with that particular employer? But again, I think that those instances where someone is doing something like that would be the extreme rare occasion, and probably there's, there maybe, I'm not saying that they would be mentally ill. I'm saying that their behavior would, make one question that. I think most cross-dressers understand that, they're, people don't understand, and it would be, they would encounter some problems, and if they just showed up to work one day this way and then showed up to work another day that way, and just back and forth and back and forth. Again, I think that if that happens, it's quite rare, and to kind
I agree, it's quite rare.
Yeah, and I guess to build an ideology around something that is probably so rare that it's not statistically significant is probably overkill.
It's so rare, it's called people with absolutely no common sense.
And maybe so. But, where
it's the same thing with the bathroom policy.
Where I stand...
if somebody wants to go in a daggone women's bathroom, and they look like a man in a dress, we need to send them to a psychiatric ward.
Well, let's go back to that statement you just made. They look like a man in a dress. So that's a subjective understanding. I know...
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm stating it outright.
Well, okay, so I know a lot of lesbians who, if you put them in a dress, they would look like a man in a dress. But they belong in the women's dress.
People can sort out for themselves which damn bathroom to go to. This is not a problem we need in front of Congress.
Well, like I said, I think that a lot of that is going to be sorted through Title VII, but like I said, I don't think that ENDA is going to solve those problems. And, I just don't think that there is going to be a political climate anytime soon where something like that could ever be seriously considered. Where I stand on any of this is just, if someone's trampling on someone's 14th Amendment protections, I'm against that. And if a transsexual is starting out, there was a time where I looked like a man in a dress. There was a time where my voice didn't sound like this.
Look at that tattoo, by the way, the one on the right arm.
Oh, yes, I have a tattoo there. I have tattoos all over my back.
Why ever did you tattoo your body?
Well, this one, believe it or not, this one I got before I transitioned, and I looked at this and went, wow, that looks really manly. That looks so butch. That looks, real men would have a tattoo like this. And, I think that my perception of what was manly and what wasn't was just kind of off anyway. But anyway, I enjoy my tattoo. I like my tattoo. I like the tattoos on my back.
Is it on your back?
Yes, I have tattoos on my back. I've been to Thailand a couple of times. I met